Hello, I'm Andrew Downie. This is a brief introduction to setting levels in Audacity. The first thing I want to show you is the recording and playback meters in Audacity. They've been there for several versions, so hopefully most of you have come across them, but perhaps not. I'm on the tracks panel at the moment. I'm going to press Shift Control F6 to go up to the toolbar at the top of the screen.
Pause button.
And we land on the pause button. I'm going to tab quite a few times.
Skip to select envelope, draw, zoom, slide, multi, record meter peak -20 dB drop down button.
We are now on the recording meter, which tells us that we are at -20 dB. Due to some trickery, I'm not recording in this instance of Audacity. The meter has a nice facility which allows you to check your level before you start recording. I'm going to press the applications key.
Context menu.
I'll arrow down once.
Start monitoring S.
And we get this option of starting monitoring.
Audacity, record meter monitoring peak -60 dB drop down button.
So now we're back to -60, but it's probably just gone up because I've started talking.
Record meter monitoring peak -25 dB.
We're up to -25. If I talk a little louder,
record meter monitoring peak -20 dB.
We're up to -20. I'm using NVDA. I can just press the command to read the current line to read the meter. If you're using JAWS, or at least the last version of JAWS I used on Audacity, you have to tab out of the meter and back into it again. So tab once.
Play meter peak -20 dB drop down button.
And then shift tab.
Record meter monitoring peak -18 dB drop down.
To get back to your record meter. As I mentioned, that's a really nice facility because it allows you to check the level before you start recording rather than being disappointed when you've done the recording. And you'll notice that when I tab, there's a playback meter as well. With modern equipment, there's not much reason usually to go much above -15 in the first instance. You can adjust later. And if you go too loud, you'll distort and be sad. So that's the meters. Very useful. Particularly use them before you start your recording so that you don't have a disappointment when you play your recording back. Having set your levels conservatively and made your recording, you'll then want to bring it up so that you're getting fairly close to 0 dB to have a nice strong recording. So let's have a look at Audacity's amplify facility. To do that, I've recorded a little piece on the piano, and it's about the zenith of my musical ability, so please be kind. So here it is. Let's check the levels on that recording. We'll select the whole track by pressing J and then Shift K to go to the end. We'll hit Alt C to go to the effects menu.
Add remove plug INS. Repeat amplify. O.
We'll go to amplify.
Amplify dialog. Amplification. dB edit. Selected 8.664.
So I could take that up to 0 just by pressing enter, because it will always present me with the number that will take it up to 0. There is a complication though. I'm going to press escape to get out of that.
Piano. Track view table.
Now there's another track here.
Track 1 selected row.
I've just turned off the solo on that track and I'm going to play the piece again. I'm not sure that Oranges and Lemons has ever been played with a drum backing, but never mind. But the point is, if I now go to the second track, let me just unselect.
Not selected.
The piano one first.
Track 2 row not selected. Selected.
And we'll
track
select,
2
yeah, we'll select that. And we'll select all of it with J and Shift K. I'll press Alt C.
Add remove plug INS.
To save time, I'll just press A for amplify.
Amplify. O. Amplify dialog, amplification, dB edit, selected 3.718.
You'll notice that the drum track is, at least in terms of the dB measurement, much louder than the piano track. So if I took the piano track up to 0, then we would have distortion with the two tracks played together. So what we do, with many thanks to Robert on this list for giving me this information, I'll press escape.
Piano, track.
I'll select everything with Control A. And now I'll press Shift Control M, and that will perform a mix and a render to new track.
Track 2 selected row, mix row not selected.
And we have a third track now called Mix. I'll select that as well.
Selected, mix selected row.
And I'll make sure everything is selected. I'll go to the Effects menu again.
Add remove plug INS, amplify. Amplify dialog, amplification, dB edit, selected 3.647.
So now we can amplify by 3 and a bit. I'll do that for now, but particularly if you are going to export to MP3, you might want to leave it at -2, but just for the sake of it.
Piano, track view table, mix selected row.
I'm now going to delete the mix track by pressing Shift-C while focused on that track.
Track 2 selected row.
If I select both tracks now and look in the Amplify dialog.
Add amplify. Amplify dialog, amplification, dB edit, selected 0.072.
So we're almost at 0, it's just slightly under. And just to confirm that, if we go to our playback meter, I'll press Shift Control F6.
Play meter peak -4 dB drop down button.
And I'll play a bit of the recording.
Play meter peak -0 dB.
So we're up to 0. And importantly, that playback meter shows us the levels for all tracks, not just one track. That's adjusting your levels to get it up to 0, but without distorting, which is very important. The other thing I'll mention very quickly is that you may well want to adjust the level of individual tracks to get the balance the way you want, and you can do that either with Amplify, which we just used, or you could use the gain facility. Shift Alt up arrow increases the gain on the whole track. Shift Alt down arrow reduces it, or you can press Shift G and insert a value. Get the balance the way you want it, and then do your adjustment to bring the levels up to close to 0. Hope you found this useful. Thanks for listening.